Okay, so welcome guys to the 2017 Guru Cup Draft Lottery. Um, Figure the first change that I should note, you guys obviously get that this is not Jermaine Rourkeshire here hosting the event. I know you're used to seeing or hearing him around this time of year. He'll make another appearance, but just for the sake of getting to the nitty-gritty, I didn't want to get lost in the details, get stuck in the weeds too much, so let's jump right in. As you guys know, the first draft pick, or I should say the winner of the consolation bracket gets their choice of draft pick each year, and that winner last year was Rob Wilder. Rob has chosen the first draft pick with his selection, so he's going to go ahead and be drafting first. As you see, we're using draftpicklottery.com, so there's their free plug. Pretty sweet setup. You can do a custom setup, so in this case we're giving Rob, since he's taken that first pick, 1 million balls. This is the custom setting here. Whereas everybody thereafter has one ball, i.e. everybody has a 1 in 11 chance of getting that second pick. So unless that 1 in a million item happens and somebody jumps ahead of Rob, I'm assuming we're going to be good to go here and I won't have to stop this video. So we're going to jump right in. All right. First pick of the 2017 draft, as we would expect, Rob Wilder. Wilder's got a pretty good setup here. He's got probably a pretty good keeper in Michael Thomas. I'm assuming that's who he's going to be keeping, as he was a 9th round selection last year, so that would cost him a 6th, he was an 11th round pick, so that would cost him his 7th pick. Pretty good setup there for Rob, who we knew was going to be the first pick. Now this is the first real, probability play here. Let's look who's going to be picking second. And it's Matt Brandt. That's an interesting one. So Matt had a 3-10 season, real rough go. Finished 11th in the regular season. Did win a game in the playoffs of the consolation bracket, but looking to rebound there so that he can see what's on slate for him this year. Moving on to the third pick. James Veloceris. James has been, he's had some good, strong seasons over the last several years, but he hasn't made that big playoff run that one might hope, from a Veloceris. Certainly with his older brother Chris, that's me, making the constant championship runs that I've made of late. I'd really expect James to pick it up one of these years or be embarrassed for life. So with the fourth pick, it's Chad Berman. Chad finished third in the playoffs last year after losing in the semis to the eventual champion, Sean Brandt. He'll be drafting fourth, and Chad's got another good setup here as he drafted, he had David Johnson as his keeper last year, so keeping DJ again, this will be the last time that he can keep him in a row, but still, it should only cost him, I believe, a 6th round pick or thereabouts, so he should be a pretty good setup there. Chad should make a good play at making another run at finish the regular season first last year. He's got another good spot here to be able to make some moves happen, especially with one of the top couple running backs that he'll be able to keep as a 6th rounder. So now let's look at the 5th pick. 5th pick is Sean Brandt. Sean Brandt picking 5th, obviously our returning champion. Sean made the first repeat champion that we've seen here in the Guru Cup, much to my dismay. Sean had a 7-6 season, basically got into the playoffs with a late push after some interesting turns of events put him in a rough spot where he was on the outside looking in until the last week of the season, and then made a run in the playoffs that was fueled by, just right time. The team got hot, and that's all it takes. You get to the dance, and then you let the chips fall where they will. So Sean will be drafting 5th. Looking towards the 6th pick, it's going to be Rob Freed. Rob Freed will be drafting with the 6th selection. Freed did last year. He was, where was he? I can't even find him right now. Oh, he was finished 5th in the regular season with an 4th with an 8-5 record. Actually, I guess that would have been 3rd, but another fizzle in the playoffs. Freed trying to make that run to really get his name on the map. He's flirted with that, 3 through 9 selection each year as far as where he finishes the regular season. Had a couple consolation brackets, a few playoffs, etc. But we're still looking to see some of his quantitative skills evidence themselves in his draft and his Guru Cup finishes. Haven't really seen that yet. One of these days maybe. Keep at it, Rob. You never know what's going to happen. With the 7th pick, Tom Briggs. What can I say about this guy? He's going to be drafting 7th. He finished last season terribly after winning the championship the previous year. He was 3-10, finished 12th in the league with a 3-10 record. Just atrocious across the board. Seemed like he won his championship and gave up for life. I'm really not sure how much he actually looked at the league at all after a certain point in the year. I'm going to guess he's not even going to see this video or know where he's drafting until draft day. So that was a waste of 2 minutes. 8th pick, Zenon McHugh, an old champion, the inaugural champion, actually got booted, came back. Here he is. He's going to be drafting 8th. Zen's got a couple decent options when it comes to potential keepers that he could be looking at. He did keep last year, which put him in a pretty good spot, at least pre-draft, Todd Gurley, but Gurley obviously did not have a great year. Zen's still got LeGarrette Blount that he drafted in the 9th, which would count for a 6th. That's a decent selection. A couple other interesting options if he wants to make a stretch play, but that might be the best option for him, depending on where Blount's going right now. Still kind of not a great options there. He'll be drafting 8th though. With the 9th selection, it's going to be yours truly, Chris Velceris, drafting 9th. Obviously, I did not keep anybody going into last year's draft. I might be in the same boat again this year, given what my final roster was, given the people who were drafted. Lost in the championship, of course, to Sean last year. It's frustrating. It's a grind, guys. You get it. Try to do what you can in the draft and then just grind it out for the regular season and see if you can put a team together that can get in the dance, which I've done for, 5 consecutive years? But, no big deal. 10th pick, Steve Sachs, coming right in there at number 10. So Steve, last year, was the number 5 seed heading into the playoffs and didn't really do much. Got ousted by Chris Velceris in a rivalry match in the first round. Got absolutely slammed by 60 points. It was a real choke show by old Saxy boy. Felt really good for me. So really boosted my confidence because Steve had my number in a lot of head-to-head matchups in the past. There wasn't quite the video documentary that there was the first historic matchup that we had in the championship, 4 years ago at this point or whatever it was. But, I'm sure that he's ready to get right back in there. He'll have the 10th pick coming in on the turn. So now we're going to number 11. With that 11 pick, obviously, it's going to snake back around. So you're going to be looking at a tandem situation with both 11 and 12. 11 is going to be Mike Velceris. Mike Velceris was welcomed back into the league last year and just missed the playoffs. He finished as the number 8 team in the regular season, just missing the playoffs. Another guy that kind of was teetering at that 500 mark all year and just was on the outside looking in at the end of it. A lot of parity in that middle section, 7 and 6, 8 and 5 range, and he was one of the guys who got stuck with the shit end of the stick, as some people might like to call it. But he'll be sitting there at 11 trying to make something happen here. He does have a decent keeper, potentially in Bilal Powell, depending on where you stand on him, but it's tough because, that would cost him his 7th, and that might just be too early for him. Rounding out this year's draft, we have the number 12 selection, which is obvious as it's the 12th person that's left, Davis. Davis Stiebolt will be drafting 12th, and he's been another guy who's been pretty consistently getting into the playoffs lately, although last year he did not make it. He finished with a 5-8 record. Rough go. But we'll see if all of his algorithms can help bring him back into the playoffs. Obviously, he traded away Michael Thomas, which would have been a nice guy to have to boost him up a little bit. But he'll be sitting at that number 12 pick, so he'll have that 12 and 13 selection. And with that, gentlemen, we have our 2017 draft pick order. The draft, as you can see on the website, it's currently scheduled for Saturday, August 26th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is obviously an online draft. Now, you need to have your keepers selected. Your keeper, if you will keep somebody from last year, you need to have them selected by the week prior to the draft, so by the 19th. You need to submit your keepers either to me via text, call, whatever, or you can actually do it on Yahoo also. If you go to I don't think the app version has it, but the Yahoo website allows you to do it by just going up here. You can go to My Team. I'm on the Chrome version of my Droid, so for you iPhone users, I'm assuming it's the same, but I have no effing idea. Once you're here, then you click on this Keepers tab at the very top across the bar below the headers, and at some point, whenever this loads, that'll take me to this screen where I can choose. You can say I have Eifert selected now. Probably won't keep anybody, but that's who I'm leaning towards. So there's your glimpse into my strategy. But you can just check one guy. You can't get more than one. I'll obviously check those to make sure it fits within the rules, and then that keeper selection will get slotted into the appropriate round as your draft pick for that round should you decide to keep somebody. Let me know if you have questions. Get to that mock drafting, and I'll see you guys all in about a month. Later.